Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a quick tutorial on factorization, specifically in two ways. One, by splitting the middle term, which is, I think, the easiest method and the best method that there is out there. And two, we're going to see how we can easily solve the equations of the difference of two squares. So first of all, here we have a simple quadratic equation. And to split the middle term, we have to be confident with the idea that in quadratics we have a, b, and c, as we can see here. So the first thing that we're going to do is get your a value and your c value and multiply them, okay? In this case, x squared, its a value is 1. As we all know, the coefficient of x is 1. We just don't write it because we don't need to, but if it helps you, well, there it is. So a times c equals 5, 1 times 5, 5. This is easy maths here. And now, the part that can sometimes get confusing, but it's normally straightforward, we're going to have to find a number that, so two numbers, when you add them together, they're going to have to give you b, which is 6. Okay, but when you multiply them, you're going to have to get the product of a and c, which is 5 in this case. So how you would approach this is think of the factors of 5. In this case, it's quite simple, because if we look at whole numbers, it basically only has a pair. It's quite evident. So it would be 5 and 1. So here you can see 5 plus 1 equals 6, and 5 times 1 equals 5. Okay, and now you've done most of the work already. We're going to go back to our original equation and rewrite it with the values we've just obtained. So x squared stays the same, and then realize how plus 6x, we're going to change it into plus 5x plus x. And by doing this, we're manipulating the equation, but we don't really changing anything. As you can see, it's still the same thing. So it's x squared plus 5x plus x plus 5 equals 0. And now here's where the unique part about this method comes. So you guys can see better in a different color, I'm going to change to red and split this in half. Split the equation in half. And we're going to factorize each of the two sides independently. So let's start with the left side. X squared plus 5x. What does it have in common? Well, that's clearly x. And then we're going to put in some brackets and fill them in with the values that we need to obtain x squared plus 5x. And in this case, it would be x plus 5. Why am I doing it in a different color? Well, this is where the magic happens, I guess. X plus 5 is the first bracket we've obtained. When going to factorize the right side, which in this case it's quite easy, but when it gets challenging, this is extremely useful, you can simply insert right the first bracket that you have on your left side on the right side. Just start with that, x plus 5. And then you just have to find out what the other number would be to make it times to, in this case, x plus 5. So this is quite simple maths, but it can really help when the question is more challenging. So now we just write 1. And we've basically solved the question now. You take the initial bracket, x plus 5. That one stays the same, obviously. And then with the other two numbers that you have, x and 1, the other two values, you simply put them in the other bracket too. Since 1 is positive, it's not negative 1. this bracket would be x plus 1. You can always check expanding this and see if it gives you your original quadratic equation. I can tell you it does now. Ooh, that one was a bit wonky there. And yeah, so you have that equals 0. That is factorized now. If you did want to actually solve for x, it's not that much harder either. One of the two brackets has to equal 0. So if the first bracket was 0, x would be -5. And if the second bracket were to be 0, x would then be -1. So here you fully solved the quadratic equation by factorizing and then solving for x. There are more challenging ones where the a value is not 1. But if you guys want to see that, I can make a separate video for that. So take any notes you need here before we move on to the difference of two squares. Okay, we're ready. 1 is done. Let's move on to 2. Again, this is, sometimes you can't do it, or the coefficient of x is not 1. But as I said, that in a separate video, guys. So 2. The main principle of the difference of two squares is here. A squared minus b squared is a plus b times a minus b. This is just a fact, a rule. But so you guys understand a bit more why this is, not just throwing out a random rule. I'm going to quickly solve it here underneath. Sorry for the writing, it might be a bit wonky. But yeah, when expanding a plus b, a minus b, you're going to get a squared minus ab plus ab minus b squared. As you can see, you're always going to end up with the minus ab plus ab, which just cancel out. And you can identify that or just do the process and then big red line through. And so you're going to end up with a squared minus b squared, as we already knew. So now that you know that this works, you can apply this rule to solving quadratics. So I'm going to give you a quick example now and see if you can follow the process using what we've just done. X squared minus 9. The first thing is identifying that 9 is a square number, and that you can rewrite this as x squared minus 3 squared. That's the hardest part here, because after that, it's simply just applying the rule. So x squared minus 3 squared, you can see that a squared minus b squared, that rule. So then, from what we already know, that always ends up being a plus b times a minus b. So then let's just write in our final answer, which is x plus 3, x minus 3. And the good thing about quadratics, you can always expand these brackets to check if it's the right answer. But yeah, if you follow these tips, you should have no problems at all. And that's pretty much it. Those are the two concepts, the two factorizing things that I wanted to teach you guys today. We went pretty simple. If you guys want more advanced, more extended stuff, we could do so. Here I'm going to leave you 2 questions if you want to practice. If you do them, please let me know and leave the answer in the comments. Would be greatly appreciated. Number 2 is quite simple. And number 1 is a bit of a challenge, but as long as you know A, B, and C, those values, apply the same principle. And having 2, in this case, as your A value, and minus 12 as your C value, you should be completely fine. So yeah, please remember 3 things. Make all equations equal to 0 before solving, that would help. Like and subscribe for more, that would also help. And comment what you want me to do next. Thank you and hope to see you soon. See you in the next video.